What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Shadowlands / Dragonflight video. I wanted to give a quick update on the Ice Strike build because I showed a few videos ago. I've talked about the Ice Strike build coming into Dragonflight. And what I want to do now is show you exactly how the Ice Strike build works on live and kind of what the difference is going to be and why I think it's going to be so much better in Dragonflight. So, of course, let me just jump into the talents really quick and show you how this works right now. Ice Strike right now essentially resets the cooldown on Frost Shock because Frost Shock has a cooldown on live. Okay? So it has with haste, it has a 4.5 second cooldown. I have a decent amount of haste. I have 32% right now. And in Dragonflight, you won't have as much when you first get going. But I believe, like on the Dragonflight talent tree, there is no cooldown on Frost Shock. So that's a major difference right off the bat. And the functionality of Ice Strike has changed in Dragonflight, of course, because you don't need to cool down Frost Shock anymore because it's already cooled down and has no cooldown in Dragonflight. So this is a straight buff in Dragonflight because instead of having to press Frost Shock and then reset the cooldown with Ice Strike, now you press Frost Shock and you double the damage of your next Frost Shock with Ice Strike, and then you just keep Frost Shocking. So if you can keep building Maelstrom weapon stacks very, very quickly and consuming them, then you can get the Hailstorm effect of Frost Shock, and you won't have those awkward windows where you need to wait for the cooldown of Frost Shock to come back. You'll see that in the video a little bit. So the way the build works on live is you've got I take Forceful Winds, Ice Strike, and then Hailstorm, and then you take Elemental Spirits. And your main gameplay loop is basically you put your wolves out, because you run Witch Doctor Wolf Bones as well. So you put your wolves out, and then you spend a lot of time generating as many Maelstrom weapon stacks as possible, and then consuming them with Chain Lightning for AoE, and then pressing Frost Shock to detonate the Hailstorm effect as well. That same gameplay loop will exist in Dragonflight, but it will be better. Let me tell you why. In Dragonflight, not only will you have access to Witch Doctor Wolf Bones, which is down here, of course, you're also going to have access to Primal Lava Actuators, and you can spread even more Flame Shocks than normal. So on this build on live, I don't focus on Lava Lash like at all, because none of my damage is indexed into that. But in Dragonflight, you're going to be able to do this really cool combo where you can do Flame Shock into Lava Lash, so you're now going to have 5 Flame Shocks out instead of 4 on live. Then you do Primordial Wave on a 6th target. On live, you would only have 5. So now you have 6 Flame Shocks out. When you press Primordial Wave, it will reduce the cooldown of your dog significantly because it generates 10 Maelstrom weapon stacks. You press your Lightning Bolt, which is a 10 Maelstrom weapon stack finisher now because of Overflowing Maelstrom. So you have 6 Lightning Bolts that go out, but they're Giga Charged like times 10 with the Maelstrom weapon stack stacking, okay? That does a lot of damage. Then you press Ice Strike, and instead of it reducing the cooldown on Frost Shock, it doubles the damage of your next Frost Shock, which is now going to have a Hailstorm buff because you just press Lightning Bolt. So now it's going to do double damage on the Hailstorm cleave as well. That is way more damage than I'm able to pull off right now on live servers. Right now, I'm able to pull off this Primordial Wave Flame Shock spreading combo, get a big Lightning Bolt, get a bunch of haste with Splintered Elements, and then go into my rotation of like Chain Lightning, Frost Shock, Ice Strike, Chain Lightning, Frost Shock. But again, I don't have this double damage modifier from Ice Strike, and Frost Shock has a cooldown on live, which makes it really annoying sometimes. It's a little janky. So we're going to look at this build that I'm going to do on live, and we're going to see how it kind of works right now in the live environment. Now, it does do a lot of damage. Don't get me wrong. This is actually a pretty significant DPS here for this point in the expansion for an enhancement shaman. I know that there's going to be people who are like, well, the Warlock can do more damage. And it's like, yeah, I get that, guys. I get that. But that's not what we're talking about. We're just trying to see if this build works. It does enough damage in Mythic Plus. Trust me, it does. I've been running plus 22 keys and stuff, and I ran this build in like a plus 20, plus 21. This is only a plus 15, and it works perfectly fine. So you can see the damage here right out of the gates. We're doing like 14k, and then it's going to spike here, 20k. And this is just the gameplay loop, 24k. We're doing a bunch of damage. I've got that initial Primordial Waved Lightning Bolt off. It cleaved and did a whole bunch of damage, and then I hit a Frost Shock. Again, I can't make my Frost Shock do double damage here on the live service, but I will be able to in Dragonflight. So just imagine your opener is going to be absolutely crazy. I also don't have a 10-stack finisher here either. I just have my 5-stack finisher because I can't do a 10-stack finisher in Shadowlands. I can only do that in Dragonflight. So really important differences to understand there, that you're going to be able to do a lot more damage in Dragonflight. Here's the first boss fight. This is Hildebrand. I think we lust. I forget to lust right off the bat, but I'm doing 25k right out of the gates, guys. That's how much damage this does on live. It's going to do more damage in Dragonflight. Trust me, it will. Like, I did 25k here because I had a Primordial Wave Lightning Bolt hit a bunch of targets, and then I hit Frost Shock as well. You know, bosses aren't going to have AoE right out of the gates in Dragonflight, but you're getting that Ice Strike to do double damage on your next Frost Shock. That is such a significant modifier. And Frost Shock not having a cooldown is going to make it so that the gameplay loop of pressing a spender into Frost Shock so that you get the Hailstorm buff is going to be just much smoother. Way, way smoother, way easier to pull off. So that is really significant. The boss damage here is already good. These numbers are just going to keep going up. Let's skip ahead to another AoE pack here. Let's get past Hildebrand. Really, this is going to shine in AoE situations, right? That's what you're looking at. You're looking for how much damage can I get out of my AoE, because you want to cleave to at least 6 targets with Hailstorm. It's going to give you the maximum amount of damage there. But the build also really focuses on, like, how much Maelstrom generation am I going to have? And right now, you can see I've got tons from Witch Doctor Wolfbones because the wolves are up all the time. They generate Maelstrom weapon stacks when they're up. I'm also getting it for my tier set bonus, which we will not have in Dragonflight. So I will have slightly less Maelstrom weapon stack generation right out of the gates in Dragonflight. But there's other tools to be able to pick up the slack there when you need it. Again, we're doing 20k here. Decent damage. Down the hill, we end up doing a ton of damage down here. We're doing 16k, 20k, 21. You know, these numbers are fine. It's not 40 or 50k like a Windwalker Monk and a Destro Luck, but you don't have to actually do that much. You can do 28k on an AoE pack, and you'll time the key perfectly fine. I've timed a lot of keys, guys, that are, you know, plus 18, 20, 22 with these kinds of builds, and they work perfectly fine. So
I would imagine it needs some tweaks.
Again, it's really, really good to see that these classes that are going to have they're going to have capped AoE. We're going to continue to have some capped AoE unless you take Alpha Wolf, I think, which is one of the new talents. But it's just cool that you can still do lots of damage here. These guys are going to die from bursting. So again, let me just recap really quickly. What are we getting here on live? On the live servers, I have Frost Shock with a cooldown. I have Ice Strike not doubling the damage of my Frost Shock. It just resets its cooldown. And then I don't have Primal Lava Actuators. I don't have Legacy of the Frost Witch. These are legendaries that I'm going to be able to pick up in Dragonflight, right? So let's pause this here and go back to the tree. And I'll just finish up here by talking about what you're going to gain here in Dragonflight. So very, very significant to understand. You're getting Frost Shock with no cooldown. You're getting Primal Lava Actuators as a legendary. You're getting Witch Doctor Wolfbones as a legendary. You're getting Legacy of the Frost Witch as a legendary, which, again, helps you to just keep the loop going, right? You're getting Primordial Wave, but it gives you 10 stacks of Maelstrom up and now. It never used to do that. It doesn't do that on live, okay? You're going to get Storm Flurry and Hot Hand and Ice Strike and all the extra damage that comes along with it. And you're getting the haste from Splintered Elements, even though it's a nerfed version of the haste. It's still perfectly fine. If you hit 6 targets with the Lightning Bolt from Primordial Wave, you're getting 36% haste for 12 seconds. That is lust, and it's perfectly fine. All of this is here to make this Ice Strike build so much better. And I'm telling you guys, this build is going to be a lot better. The fact that you get a double damage Frost Shock every 15 seconds is insane. This goes down with haste. This Ice Strike cooldown does go down with haste. So maybe like midway through the expansion or in your Primordial Wave window, it might be like a 10-second cooldown, and then you're getting double damage Frost Shocks every 10 seconds in that little window there. That's really significant. Anytime you can get this Ice Strike off and then double the damage of your next Hailstorm, it's going to be absolutely bonkers. That's what's really, really cool about this. So I'm excited for this Ice Strike build. It does lots of damage right now on live. When we get to Dragonflight, it's going to do even more, guys. I promise you. It's going to hit even harder, and it's going to be even more fun to play. It's going to be more intuitive because Frost Shock won't have a cooldown anymore. You won't have to have those weird janky moments where you're kind of waiting for you have a Hailstorm buff ready to go, and you want to consume it with Frost Shock, but you also have a Chain Lightning ready to go, and you want to press your spender. You're not going to run into that problem anymore because Frost Shock will not have a cooldown. And also, the final point here, again, you're getting access to multiple legendaries, which will all help to shore up your damage if you're lacking in a little bit of damage. Like, the consistent damage profile here is all in the fire damage. So you're doing like Lava Lash, you're spreading it around. You're getting Primal Lava Actuators just going all the time, giving you these hot hand windows. And on top of that, you're using big spenders that cost 10 Maelstrom weapon stacks. You're consuming those, and then you're getting big Hailstorm buffs off the top of that. All the while, you're extending reducing the cooldown, of your dogs multiple times so that you can have them up all the time. And again, continuing the loop of generating Maelstrom weapon stacks. This is a pure kind of mastery. This is like a haste mastery build, but a lot of mastery you could invest in because you're doing so much fire damage, so much frost damage, and then your lightning bolts are the other big chunkier damage as well. So this is very cool. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Do you think that Ice Strike will be viable at all? Do you think that a Frost Shock Hailstorm build will be viable at all in Dragonflight? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. I'm really excited about all the Dragonflight stuff. I will continue to give you guys updated videos every single day on new build ideas and new talent trees that are coming out, so stay tuned here if you want to see any of that. If you like this video and you like the content that's going on here, like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you want to support the future of what I'm doing here, again, Patreon is always the best way to do that. There's multiple tiers that you can check out, so go check that out in the description down below. Thank you guys once again. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one.